think you can be killed by a plant? Let's check it out. Which of these two flowers is poisonous? Which tree do you think is dangerous? Which of these berries had you better not eat? Remember what you chose. I'll give you the correct answer later. There are a variety of extremely dangerous plants in the world. For example, once you touch this burdock leaf, your body will start a countdown to committing suicide. This flower is like that unseen force from the bird box that sneaks into people's subconscious and makes them self-harm until they kill themselves. We used to think that herbs heal, flowers delight the eye, and trees bear delicious fruit. However, that's not always the case. In this video, you'll find out which tree is a danger to your mother, which plant would set your bottom on fire, and to prevent fatalities, I'll tell you how to be saved from the most poisonous plants in the world. What poisonous plants can easily be confused with normal ones? Just look at these mouth-watering apples. In fact, if you take a bite of this fruit, it will send you into a sleeping death, just like Snow White. And even the kiss of handsome Prince Charming won't do you any good. This is the manchineal tree. According to the Guinness World Records, the manchineal tree is in fact the most dangerous tree in the world. As the old saying goes, even its shadow can be lethal. It can be found in the areas stretching from tropical southern North America to northern South America. In 1733, there was even a royal decree issued ordering the destruction of all these poisonous trees on the island of Puerto Rico. But it's not so easy to deal with them. All parts of the tree contain strong toxins, and some of them are still unidentified. Its bark secretes milky white sap, which contains skin irritants. Our moms are so fond of taking pictures by trees, but after taking a picture with this one, she'll develop severe allergic dermatitis on her hands. Being under the tree when it rains will make your skin break out in blisters from contact with this liquid. The sap of this plant damages even the paint on cars. Now imagine what would happen to your skin. But when it was decided to burn the trees, it turned out that if the smoke gets in your eyes, you'll go blind. Therefore, often the tree has a red ribbon tied around it and also carries a warning sign. But its fruit can pose a real danger too. They're similar in appearance to an apple, but more flattened. Once you swallow this fruit, it will first seem to have a sweet, pleasant taste, but these sensations will later be replaced with a pepper taste, gradually developing into a burning, and then your throat will swell. The symptoms will continue to get worse, and you'll have difficulty swallowing solid food because of the excruciating pain. But if you only had a little bite, there's still a way to be saved. For this, drink a lot of milk to ease the pain. In 8 hours, all pain sensations will gradually reduce. Another wolf in sheep's clothing is the pong-pong tree that resembles a green mango. This tree grows in the coastal salt swamps of India and southern Asia. If the Cerbera odolum fruit kernel that contains the cerberin steroid enters your body, it blocks the passage of calcium ions into your cardiac muscle, which causes your heartbeat to slow down gradually until it stops completely. Death follows 3 hours after intake. It's one of the deadliest poisons on Earth, and it's virtually unknown to Western physicians. But surprisingly, you can find recipes for how to commit suicide using it. It's often ground and mixed with spices. If you are unlucky enough to eat such a spice accidentally, then dilute a spoonful of mustard in a glass of boiled water and drink it. It'll cause vomiting, and maybe you'll be saved if you do it right after you ate the fruit. What poisonous plants are exploited by people? The only thing that's more dangerous than poisonous plants is a person who knows how to use them. For example, the castor bean that's widespread throughout tropical and subtropical regions of both the northern and southern hemispheres and acts as a laxative. A laxative so powerful, it's referred to as a potential terrorist weapon for committing mass murder. When injected, it causes abdominal pain, dehydration, and destroys the major internal organs. But if you happen to swallow it, then don't do anything. It'll make you throw up, which in many cases removes the poison. People also use the sandbox tree as a weapon. This plant is native to tropical regions of North and South America. It can be identified by its smooth brown bark, covered in many dark, pointed spines. These spines led to it being nicknamed Monkey No Climb. It produces caustic sap similar to drain cleaner. Fishermen are said to use the caustic sap from this tree to poison fish, and the indigenous tribes use the sap to produce poisoned arrows. The sandbox tree's seed capsules are a fruit about the size of a fist, and when ripe, they burst open with such force that they usually strike everyone who's standing next to them. And one single seed eaten will cause a burning in your throat, a headache, and, pardon my French, vomiting and diarrhea. 2 seeds will cause hallucinations. If you happen to suffer from this tree, eat some white boiled rice, which is the fastest and most efficient way to eliminate diarrhea. But sometimes people consume poisonous plants intentionally, as is the case with deadly nightshade, or as it's also called, belladonna. Belladonna is one of the most toxic plants native to the Eastern Hemisphere. Deadly nightshade berries pose the greatest danger to children, and they're attractive and are deceptively sweet at first bite. Yet, just 2 berries can kill a child who eats them, and it takes only 10 or 20 to kill an adult. Consuming a single leaf can cause loss of consciousness or even send one into a coma. Symptoms of deadly nightshade poisoning include delusions and hallucinations. If medical aid is far off and you're suddenly poisoned with nightshade, well, I can only wish you good luck. And it's not the only plant that has a narcotic effect. What plants can drive you crazy? Of course, first and foremost, it's datura, namely jimsonweed. Its flowers are known as devil's trumpets. Jimsonweed is used to create scopolamine, the South American zombie drug. It's used on people to make unsuspecting victims fully obey old demands. But some people intentionally eat datura to get high. It's not like LSD or shrooms or weed. One of the key features is that you don't even realize that you've completely lost touch with reality. This trip is more like schizophrenia or dementia, terrifying, multi-layered fantasies filled with bizarre, meaningless events. Something like the movie Inception if directed by David Lynch. The only thing that could be worse is using brugmansia, also known as devil's breath. All parts of brugmansia are poisonous, especially its seeds and leaves. Brugmansia causes a deep trance with fairly strong and unpleasant effects, nauseating consequences, and sometimes temporary insanity. For example, one young man amputated his own genitals and tongue after drinking only 1 cup of brugmansia tea. There are rumors that brugmansia is used in Colombia to turn tourists into unsuspecting zombies and get money out of them. Be aware that if you are given a drug plant, try to at least take a cold shower or put some cold water on your face to wake up a bit, and try not to pass out in any way. Ask somebody to stay with you for you not to find a way to cause trouble or cut off anything. But what plant can make you kill yourself? Gimpy Gimpy doesn't sound that terrifying, does it? Sounds like a name for the fifth Teletubby. It can be found in the rainforest areas of Malaysia and Australia, the Maluku Islands, and Indonesia. It looks like a shrub with large heart-shaped leaves, pretending to be sort of harmless burdock. If you look closer, you can find that they have a lot of white hairy filaments on them, which are the main source of pain. The second that you touch it, you'll feel like you're being burned with hot acid and electrocuted at the same time. One ex-serviceman, Cyril Bromley, fell into one of the plants during the Second World War. He ended up strapped to a hospital bed. Bromley also told a story of an officer who unknowingly used a leaf as toilet paper. The officer recounted that for almost 2 or 3 days, the pain was almost unbearable. He couldn't work or sleep. The stinging persisted for 2 years and recurred every time he had a cold shower. The officer said he didn't experience anything that could rival it, because that pain is 10 times worse than any burn. Unable to endure the torment, the officer ended up shooting himself. If you get stung by this plant, you can't just pull the needles out with tweezers. They're too thin and too tight. One of the best solutions is to pull them all out with hot wax, but you have to be careful. If at least one of the hundreds of needles in your skin breaks off, you'll be in pain for many years. Can you be saved from a poisonous plant? At the beginning of the video, I asked you to guess which plants are poisonous and which are safe. Now I'll tell you the correct answer. These Ageratum houstonianum blue horizon flowers, as well as these Brunfelsia flowers, and these beautiful oleander and robinia trees, and the common snowberry, along with wolfsbane, sure as hell must not be eaten. All these plants are poisonous. Keep your eyes open. Danger lurks in places you wouldn't even expect.